والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Great. Really happy to be doing this again with a week break, inshallah. So last time we talked about a super important concept in our religion. We get our religion from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we want to make sure that whatever reports we are hearing from others that claim that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said something or did something, that's authentic, right? We talked about the criteria for the authentic hadith, also known as Sahih Hadith. The term authentic is not really good because there's two authentics. There's Hadith Sahih, which is technically called Hadith Sahih. It's a technical definition, okay? Everything what I'm talking about is a technical definition. It's not in the Quran or the Sunnah or something like, right? These are all technical categories that we're talking about. And then the other authentic hadith is the Hasan. Remember we talked about Hasan and Sahih. We're going to get into the nitty-gritties a little bit right now. And then we talked a little bit about Da'if Hadith, right? And you will understand this more. So bottom line is, remember the 5 criterias of authenticity, right? You have to have a connected chain, okay? You have to have the trustworthiness or reliability of the narrators, right? Okay, great. You have to have accuracy of the narrators. You have to have no shuduz, no contradictions, right? And you have to have adamul illa, okay? You have to have no illa, no hidden defects within the hadith. And you will understand slowly now some examples, some idea about what all of this means. Okay. Everything that I just said just now, these 5 points, they have subcategories. Okay, and though that's what makes up the science of hadith. So what we're now delving into, we already delved into this last time, but this is now officially, I am telling you that we're delving into the part of Islamic sciences called Mustalah al-Hadith. Mustalah. In Arabic, Mustalah means technical terminology. So when you read books on the right? You listen to lectures. You have heard these terms. I promise you. You probably, if you didn't know what these means, you had no idea what the scholar was saying. If you listen to Sheikh Ninawi, you listen to Sheikh Asr Qadi, you listen to whoever, one way or another, they throw in a term that probably goes over people's heads. And today, inshallah, I want to teach you those terms, and you'll be like, now I understand, right? Inshallah, that's the goal. Okay? So these five categories are extremely important. If you look at the 5 categories, there's really 2 categories, right? There's the chain, things related to the chain itself, which is continuity and the people in it, and do they have memory and accuracy, and do they have credibility, right? So that's all chain related stuff. And then there's the matan related stuff, which goes back to a very simple picture that we looked at last time. Every hadith has a chain and a matan. The body is called the matan. The isnad and the matan. Isnad, matan. Okay, good. Now let's inshallah move forward. I am going to switch this around. I'm going to talk about this later. Okay. So, before in addition to the 5 things, I'm going to add another dimension. Okay, jazakallah khair. I'm going to add another dimension. If you hear a report, okay, you want to know who said it. You'll follow me for a second. If it says, the hadith says, for example, qala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, right? That's attributed to Rasulullah, right? If you hear something that Umar said, and this has nothing to do with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's just Umar radiallahu anh saying something. right? Let's say, for example, when he enacted the Taraweeh and officialized Taraweeh, that's his saying. Or you must have seen on Facebook or something like that, Ali radiallahu anh said, XYZ, right? Or, so Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said something. So who is this hadith, this report attributed to? Whose saying is it? Is it Rasulullah? Is it a Sahabi? Or is it a Tabi'i, the successor, the follower of the student, the student of the Sahabi? Okay? Radiallahu anhu majma'in. So that has a term. So anything that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's attributed to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, either he said something or did something, it's called Marfūዕ. This is called Marfūዕ. Okay? That's the term. You have heard this. I promise you. You probably didn't know what it meant, but now you know. If somebody says Hadith Marfūዕ, meaning Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. Okay? Nothing related to authenticity. Okay? Has nothing to do with authentic, inauthentic, whatever. You can have da'if hadith, hasan hadith. You can even have mawdu', fabricated hadith. But it's marfu', meaning it's something Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. Clear? Okay. Then we have something that the companions said. So there's going to be a lot of Arabic terms, but I'm going to translate it. But I'm just sharing the Arabic terms because those are the ones that are used. The translations are not used. Okay. If the Sahabi said something, it's called Mawqūf. Okay, Mawqūf. Okay, and if the Tabi'i said, we're going to look at some examples, inshallah. If the Tabi'i said something, it's called Maqtūዕ. Maqtū'. Okay, it just means severed, meaning it has a large distance. Don't worry about these are all technical terms. Don't say like why is it called this kind of thing. But marfu' means elevated. Elevated means it's elevated all the way up to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Mawqūf means it's stopped. Okay, and Maqtū' means it's cut off. So marfu' Rasulullah, Mawqūf Sahabi, and Maqtū' successor. Great. Let's look at, for example, another attribution. Before I go into other example, I just want to say you must have heard of Hadith Qudsi. Who is that attributed to? Rasulullah? Yes. But really, who is it attributed to? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see? So that's called Qudsi. So now you know the term Qudsi, which area it falls under. It falls under the attribution area. Who is it attributed to? Make sense? Okay. I know you guys get it. Everybody gets it. Let's look at Hadith Qudsi, for example. Okay, I'm going to make this larger. So you all know what a Hadith Qudsi is, and we're not going to spend too much time. But here's the chain up at the top. Not important for now. But this is Anas bin Malik. Okay, remember Anas bin Malik? Anas bin Malik was the servant of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the little boy. Anas bin Malik, the little boy. سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Now he's narrating this hadith when he's grown up, obviously, right? So I heard Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم said, قال الله. Allah said. See? Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم said that Allah said. Okay, here's the English over here. You want me to go over the English? Okay. So this is a beautiful hadith. I said that in I think I used this hadith in the khutbahs of my istighfar khutbah series. It's a beautiful hadith. I'm just going to read this hadith just because it's beautiful. It'll all make you feel good. That's the only reason I'm doing it, inshallah. Beautiful hadith. It's beautiful hadith. It is in Tirmidhi and it is Hasan. It is Hasan by Darus Salam. Excellent. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasulullah said that Allah said, Ya ibn Adam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing the children of Adam, human beings, us. Ya ibn Adam. إنك ما دعوتني ورجوتني غفرت لك على ما كان فيك ولا أبالي. If you were to call upon me and hope for reward from me, I would forgive you for anything that you may have done. I'm just paraphrasing. For anything you have done, and I don't care. Allah said, وَلَا أُبَالِي. I don't care. Meaning it doesn't matter to me. If you just hope and call to me, that's enough for you to be forgiven. And Allah says, I don't care how many sins you bring with you, I don't care. Then, Ya ibn Adam, لو بلغت ذنوبك عنان السماء ثم استغفرتني غفرت لك ولا أبالي. If you can come with sins that can be stacked up as high as the sky, right? And you said astaghfirullah, and you said istighfar, I would forgive you and I don't care. Meaning however many sins you have. Ya ibn Adam, لو أتيتني بقراب الأرض خطايا ثم لقيتني لا تشرك بي شيئا لأتيتك بقرابها مغفرة. So Allah said, if you were to come with a world full of errors, khataya, sins, if you, the size of this world, if your sins were as big as this earth, and you came to me, when you met me, meaning on the day of judgment, and you didn't do shirk, I will come to you with the world size of forgiveness. This is Hadith Qudsi. Is that beautiful? Very hopeful hadith. Okay, anyways, so Hadith Qudsi, good, and let's move on. Okay, Marfūʿ Hadīth, you guys understand, I don't want to give you too many examples, but Qala Rasulullah something. Okay, like إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ, that is Marfūዕ. Mawqūf, I don't have a handy, by the way, this takes tons of work, so I just didn't have, wallahi, my methodology is not to bring something to you just because I read it in a book, I'll just copy paste it. I don't like to do that. I like to actually, because a lot of people do that, and sometimes they misquote the references. I don't like that. You'll hear all this stuff, so I like whatever I present to you, I myself have looked into it, that if somebody said that Imam al-Dhahabi said, or Imam Ibn Hajar said, XYZ, I go and look at what Imam Ibn Hajar said, I confirm that is the right thing, then I put it in and show you, right? Otherwise, I don't like to do that, right? Because I don't want to just make a mistake and just repeat somebody's error in case it's an error. That's just my methodology. So I don't have a Mawqūf Hadīth example, so excuse me. However, I can show you a Maqtūዕ Hadīth, okay? So I know you guys may not be familiar with the way Sahih Bukhari is organized, okay? But that's okay. We will talk about that inshallah. Okay, but Sahih Bukhari has, so Imam Bukhari, what he did is he created an outline of all of his opinions. We'll talk more about that inshallah. So Bukhari, we think of it as a book of hadith. It's actually not a book of hadith. That wasn't his intention. His intention was he was actually a faqih. So he had his own fiqh. So his outline was to prove his point of his fiqh. So, supporting each of his points, he brings hadith evidences to support his points. Does that make sense? So, it's actually a book of fiqh. Okay, kind of. It's not really fiqh, but so he makes his fiqh statement. Sometimes he has like a small title. Sometimes he has a long paragraph that he writes about some opinion that he has. Okay, so in there, sometimes he throws in even Maqtūዕ Hadīth. al-Hayā fil ilm. Shyness when learning. Be humble. Be shy. Right? Don't be arrogant. That's what he's saying. And now he's going to bring a hadith to prove his point. Make sense? So the title is not that he gathered a hadith and gave it a title. It's the other way around. He came up with his understanding and then proved his. Okay. So before he brings the hadith though, you see this section here? I know it's kind of tiny. It's in Arabic anyway, so it doesn't matter. But you see this section here? So he has these intros over his sections. Sometimes really large intros, sometimes really short intros, sometimes no intros, because the hadith speak for themselves. But sometimes he brings these intros, and he does something that nobody really else did. Okay? So he will bring a hadith here which are not, he didn't intend them to be sahih. Because Imam Bukhari said, whatever is in my book that I say is a hadith is authentic, is sahih, right? And he's right. He's been proven for, 1200 years, 1250 years, whatever, right? 1250 years, okay? Long time. Authentic, okay. But in the intros, he brings things without a chain sometimes, often without a chain. And sometimes he will bring a report. So here's one. وَقَالَ Mujahid. Who was Mujahid? He was a tabi'i. Okay? He said, وَقَالَ Mujahid. So Imam Bukhari, did he meet Mujahid? No, he didn't. But he says, قَالَ Mujahid. There's no isnad before it. You see that? But that's not my point here. My point is, this is Mujahid's statement. I'm telling you what a Maqtūʿ Hadīth is. Like, there's a statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Hadith Qudsi. Statement of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Marfūዕ. Statement of Sahabi, Mawqūf. And the statement of a tabi'i, Maqtūዕ. And this is a statement of the tabi'i. Ignore the fact that it has no isnad. Mujahid said, لا يتعلم العلم مستحي ولا مستكبر. A shy person and an arrogant person will never learn. Yeah, they will never gain knowledge. Why? Because a shy person will not ask questions out of shyness. Okay? And because, even if they have a question in their mind, because they're shy, they're not going to speak up. So it applies to women, for example, or women at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because they were shy, they didn't want to approach him. Or maybe it was a female matter, and they didn't want to approach him because they were shy, right? So here's Mujahid saying, this is just Mujahid saying, has nothing to do with, this is his opinion, right? Maybe his opinion, maybe he learned it from the Sahabi, maybe he learned from somewhere else, whatever, but we don't know. From this chain, we have no idea. We don't even have a chain. So we don't know where this came from. But Imam Bukhari brought it, so that has some validity. It's not some, quite a bit of validity to it, but we're not going to call this report authentic. We're not going to call it that, because it's not. It doesn't have an isnad. Anyways, so, and an arrogant person is never going to learn. So arrogant person never asks a question because they think they're know-it-alls. So they're not going to ask. The shy person is not going to learn anything because they're going to not ask because they're shy. Clear? Okay, so this is an example of a Maqtūʿ Hadīth. You understand now the categories? Okay, so this is important for you to know. So I'll give you an example. Somebody was arguing with me on my YouTube videos. I don't believe in Hadith and all this stuff that he was saying. Okay, I'm going to show you a Hadith. Okay, and I want you to think about it before I comment on it. Okay, it's in Bukhari. Okay, it's in Bukhari. Don't be scared. It's okay. So let's not worry about the Arabic part. So someone narrated, this guy, Amr bin Maymun. So he's a tabi'i. Okay, he's a tabi'i. During the pre-Islamic period of ignorance, the time of Jahiliyyah, I saw a she monkey, meaning a female monkey, surrounded by a number of other monkeys, and they were all stoning that monkey. The monkeys were stoning the female monkey because it had committed, illegal sexual act. Now, I also then, the tabi'i said, I also started stoning that monkey. This bothers some people. Your thoughts, I'd like to hear.
What is the point they're trying to prove?
Yeah. This is a statement of not even a Sahabi. This is a statement of the companion, and he's clearly telling you, before Islam, this is what I used to do. So he never met Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even though he was part of. He was probably alive around that time, but he never met Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He became Muslim later on. This is why Imam Bukhari brings this report here. Now, Imam Bukhari brings this report. It's an authentic chain. Imam checks all the boxes, all of the 5 categories, but the report is from a tabi'i, it's maqtūዕ. And are you going to derive your deen from something that this person did in the time of pre-Islamic period? Why should this bother you? It's authentic. Why did Imam Bukhari bring it? Very important. He's bringing it for historical reasons. This is what people used to do at that time. Making sense? It's a piece of history. Just because it's in Bukhari doesn't mean it now becomes a part of our deen. No. It becomes part of the history of our deen, sure. But not, you understand? So it shouldn't bother you. So you have to think about this dimension. Who is saying it? What are they talking about? Before it bothers you. It's like, why is Imam Bukhari now supporting the stoning of the monkeys? It's like, no, he's not. He's bringing a piece of history. Clear? Make sense? Okay, so that's an example. Okay, I have spent a lot of time on this, but we're gonna go slow. Now comes the other most important part of all of the sciences of the Mustalah. Okay, you'd be shocked right now. So before I get into the Hadith terminology, board time. Okay, inshallah. Okay, you guys ready? So what does a chain typically look like? So here's Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? Here's Rasulullah. Let's just use this example because remember, this could be a sahabi, this could be a tabi'i saying something. It doesn't matter. We're just interested right now in Marfūʿ Hadīth. Okay? It doesn't matter, regardless. What I'm about to teach you applies to all. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam might have heard one companion say something. This is a C. C for a companion. So one companion may have heard Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say something, right? Okay. Or it could be two companions heard, right? So this Sahabi radiallahu anh had a tabi'i here and a tabi'i here that he reported to, and this person reported to this tabi'i, this tabi'i. This is how chains form, right? You guys are following? Mm-hmm. Right? And this person then shared with a whole bunch of people, tabi'i, right? I'm just making up these symbols just for you. You understand? Mm-hmm. Clear? Okay, great. Now I'm going to erase this. So let's say 5 companions, radiallahu anhum, not 5, whatever this number is. These many people, companions heard. Okay? They didn't narrate, maybe okay, let's just say even more students heard. Okay? More tabi'i. But this report happened to be only the way we got this report, or Imam Bukhari got this report, or Imam Tirmidhi got this report, or they collected it. Only one tabi'i got it, and let's say Imam Bukhari put it in his book. Clear? These people, there are no known chains from them. No known chains. This, regardless of 1,000 people here, 1,000 people there, if you have one, this is called an Ahad Hadith. Actually, you can have one at any level. At any level, if you have 1 or 2 or 3, so Imam Tirmidhi, let's say, captured it, or Imam Bukhari had another one, this is called an Ahad Hadith. So up to 3 people. More than 3, we'll talk about that in a second. So, this is an Ahad. If only one companion heard from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, only one companion heard, but let's say that companion was a teacher and he taught a whole bunch of students, and you have 1 million students here and 1 billion students after, it doesn't matter. What is the weak link? One chain. Between, you understand? Are you following me? This is also an ahad. Doesn't matter if there's 1 billion people here. Doesn't matter. Or 2, or just 3. Okay? Newsflash. Majority, 99.9% of all hadith we have is ahad. Okay? This is going to become important later when we talk about the sciences of aqidah and fiqh and all of this stuff. This is going to become extremely important. Why is this important? The reason it's important is are we talking about astaghfirullah, Hindu avatars that can't make mistake, or are we talking about human beings? We're talking about human beings, right? Our religion is divine. Our people are not, right? You understand? So scholars, they have to take this into consideration. You understand? Have you ever heard of the term ahad before? No. Okay. But this term I bet you have heard before. It's called mutawatir. What is mutawatir? You did it? Good. So mutawatir means more than 3. Actually, it's there's no agreement on how many people. There's absolutely no agreement. A lot of scholars have used many numbers, but bottom line is more than 3. So let's say 9, 10, more than 10, 20. 20 companions heard, and they have to have shared, but it's okay. More than 20 has to be more than, whatever that number is, the threshold you use. Shared information, and then you have like 10 people here, then 1,000 people at this level, and then 10,000 people at this level, and million people after that. That is mutawatir. Let's say that these were liars. All of them were liars. Let's just say they were not either credible or they had issues. Okay, not trustworthy. Is that hadith still mutawatir? Yes. Yes. Why? For example, have you been to China, Jamila?
No.
Do you believe China exists?
Yes.
Why?
Because we know that they are there.
It's mutawatir information. Everybody knows. Right? You don't have to be there for somebody to prove it. Right? Even if a liar says it, you're going to still believe, yes, there is a China there. Yep. You're not going to go, let me check. Now I doubt if China exists because I had some. Yes?
You said 99.99 is ahad, so without only point.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. I'll get to it. I'm teaching the concept right now. Yes, it's an important point. Imam Shafi'i wrote a whole book on the importance of using ahad hadith. And this made Imam Shafi'i, and he revolutionized Islamic science. That book is called Al-Risala. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. You guys need to learn about their lives. These are amazing people. Brilliant. Listen, I'll share the biography of Imam Shafi'i. Amazing. You'll understand the importance of this. Anyways, for example, Imam Abu Hanifa did not like ahad hadith as much. Did not. Okay? And that's why the fiqh is different. Because they're using different sources. Follow? Okay. Now, so you understand mutawatir? So mutawatir hadith, I'm giving you a very high level, I'm going to move on now. You guys kind of understand now. So mutawatir hadith is, the reason it is so strong, you don't even authenticate the chain for a mutawatir hadith. If you have these many chains, and they're all saying the same thing, you're going to go, okay, I don't need to authenticate it. This is a authentic hadith. Guess what the Quran is? This is why we don't question the Quran. Quran is mutawatir. We follow? It was reported by so many companions at every single level. So even if one person wanted to lie and spread a conspiracy that China doesn't exist, would you stop believing that, like let's say the flat earthers or the people who say we didn't land on the moon, if they start a conspiracy, can they change people's minds? No. They know it's authentic. They've been witnessed. They have documents. The whole world is full of this stuff, right? That information is mutawatir. That's called tawatur, right? Tawatur. You want me to? Can I write in Arabic? Mutawatir is something that has tawatur. Mutawatir has tawatur. Corroboration. Fancy word, right? Tawatur. And something that has tawatur is called mutawatir. So this Quran is mutawatir. Mutawatir is of two types. You can have Mutawatir Lafzi, meaning in wording, like word for word, exact same report. Word for word, exact same report. That's called Mutawatir by wording. Mutawatir by meaning. Let's say it's not even the same report, like the Hadith about Dajjal, or Hadith about Yajuj, Majuj, or something like that. Hadith about the Mi'raj of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because Mi'raj it's not mentioned in the Quran directly, right? It's indirect, so you don't really know. So how do we know Mi'raj actually happened? Is from the Hadith. But there's tons of reports about the Mi'raj. They're all different reports, but they all share this common understanding, which is Mi'raj happened. You follow what I'm saying? They all are talking about, let's say, you in Beaufort it's raining, so you report it's raining. The other person reports it's raining, but they say it differently. It's pouring. The other person's saying it's pouring cats and dogs. The other person is saying, oh man, I can't go outside. I'll get drenched. Completely different statement. But what all of these things mean? They mean it's raining. So you can have multiple reports that are not necessarily saying the same thing, but they're implying the same thing. It's Mutawatir Ma. It's Mutawatir by meaning. You understand? Are you guys still with me? It's very technical stuff, but it's really amazing stuff, okay? So for example, the concept of Mahdi mentioned in the Quran? Not at all. Zero. Not even indirectly. Where is it mentioned? In the Hadith. It is Mutawatir Ma'nawi. Because there's so many reports talking about Mahdi. Is it really Mutawatir Ma'nawi? It's also questionable, but that's a more advanced topic. We'll just park that on the side, inshallah. Because a lot of the Hadith are not authentic. So you can have reports, but the reports have to be authentic, right, for it to be supported. Otherwise, you don't consider them, right? So, okay, good. So now you understand Mutawatir and Ahad. Mutawatir, so many people at every level report. That, it can't be a lie. And Mutawatir and Ahad means you have a maximum of 3 people at some level. Okay? Good? Everybody clear? Good. I'm going to shock you now. Today is shock day. Now you see why scholars have debates. Okay? This is just one aspect. Okay? So we talked about the lafzi and ma'nawi, by wording, by meaning. Okay, great. So let's look at Mutawatir Lafzi. Okay? Oh, my computer disconnected again. Astaghfirullah. I apologize. I don't know why it's doing that. So we've talked about this hadith before. The Mutawatir Lafzi, word for word, exactly the same report by hundreds of companions and thousands of tabi'eens, right? It is what? This is just one example. Obviously, there's so many reports. This is just one chain. Okay? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, so Marfūʿ Hadīth, right? من كذب علي متعمدا فليتبوأ مقعده من النار. Oh, it turned off? I don't know. Why? Let me know if it's back. I think it's, It's back? Okay. You guys can read this? So this is, you can say like the Quran, like word for word, exactly the same, said hundreds and thousands and millions and billions of times. Okay? من كذب علي متعمدا فليتبوأ مقعده من النار. Ironically, Rasulullah ﷺ is saying, ironically, because we were talking about this concept of tawatur, whoever lies upon me intentionally, let him find a seat in the hellfire. And ironically, this is a Mutawatir Lafzi hadith. You guys understand the irony? Right? We're talking about the tawatur and Rasulullah ﷺ. The most authentic statement from Rasulullah ﷺ ever is this statement. Ever is this statement. Whoever lies intentionally about what I said, let him find a seat in hellfire. If you read the Muqaddimah of Sahih Muslim, Imam Muslim started with this, and this is why he was saying why we need authentic ahadith. The whole intro of Muqaddimah of Sahih Muslim was centered around this, as an example. Okay, so now you understand Mutawatir Lafzi. And I already kind of told you Mutawatir Ma. I gave you several examples. Another one is, for example, the wiping over the socks, right, for wudu, if you're traveling or not even traveling like me. Okay? I'm wearing socks. Different fiqh has different stipulations about what kind of socks and all this stuff. That's all fiqh stuff. We'll talk about that later. Let's just leave it to socks, okay, for now. And they cover the knees. This is by consensus. They have to cover, not knees. What are they called? Ankles. Thank you. They have to cover the ankles by consensus. Pretty much all. I think pretty much all schools agree. They have to cover the ankles. They can't be below the ankles. Okay. The narrations about Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam either doing or telling others to do the masah over the socks is innumerable. Not the same report, but innumerable. So that's where it comes from. Is it in the Quran? No. You understand? Now you're getting the idea of how we get stuff from our deen. How do we form our deen? What are we supposed to do? How do we follow the sunnah? How do we get the sunnah? This is how we get the sunnah. Tawatur. Not just lafzi, but ma'nawi. By the way, is Quran Mutawatir Lafzi or ma'nawi? Yes. It's by wording. Okay, we will talk about other aspects of that in the sciences of the Quran, inshallah. Okay, good. This is fun? Okay, inshallah, let's keep going. So remember I told, this is not super important, but remember if I told you if there's weak links, so not weak links, what I mean is links small in number, right, 3 or less, each has a name. So the ones with 3 links is called mashhur, famous. Okay? Because remember I told you 99% of the hadith body is ahad, right? So anything that has 3 chains, individual chains. By the way, if this is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and there's, let's say, 3 let's make it simple example. One companion reported, but he taught many people. Okay? You're not going to count these as multiple chains because they all go back to one sahabi. So it's one chain. You follow? Okay, important. So the one with the one has a name. It's called gharib. Okay, gharib means solitary. Gharib means strange or solitary. The one with 2 sahabi and them reporting, it's called aziz. means rare or strong, right? Aziz has so many meanings, wallah. Aziz is a very complex word, by the way, just so you know. Okay? Mashhur means famous. Okay? So one with the three is called mashhur. Yeah. These names not important. These are hardly ever used, but I wanted you to understand the concept. You want to be shocked? Now, the most famous hadith that you guys know is actually gharib. إنما الأعمال بالنيات is a gharib hadith. Reported by, I'll let you read it. Shock? Yes. We haven't even begun there. I'm just talking about categories of the number of chains, based on number of chains. Remember, we talked about the category of who is saying something, right? Who is attributed to Marfūዕ, Mawqūf, Maqtūዕ, right? Or Qudsi. Now we're talking about the number of chains. We're not even talking about authenticity yet. Yeah.
No, I mean to say it's a different thing. Gharib is different and
Oh yes, completely different. Just because you have one gharib chain doesn't mean it's inauthentic. The isnad is, it meets the five category, the criteria, right? It is continuous chain. All of the narrators are reliable. All of the narrators are super accurate. There is no defect. There's no contradiction, and there's no defect. So it's sahih. Meets the criteria. إنما الأعمال بالنيات. Narrated by. Do you know who narrated it? By the way, who the Sahabi is? Umar ibn al-Khattab. He narrated. It's by Hadith. It's Hadith Umar. Okay, you all should know this. Remember we talked about at the beginning of the class. al-Humaydi was the Bukhari's teacher. Al-Humaydi, but who is the report going to? Who's the companion? It's Umar radiallahu anh. Okay, all right, good. So the most famous hadith is solitary, and not even solitary, super solitary, one chain. Because solitary has three categories, right? The 3 chain, 2 chain, and 1 chain. Good? Good? Shocked? Surprised? MashaAllah. Sometimes, not sometimes, everything has a lot of subcategories. So when I give you a category name, you have to associate it with, so sometimes you can have many reports that say the same thing. So sometimes the matan, the body is solitary, but you can have many chains saying the same thing. Like for example, the Mutawatir Hadīth we looked at, it's the same text, but reported by hundreds of chains. So you can have both ways, okay? Am I confusing you? No? But I know it's gonna build up, okay, inshallah. We'll hang in there with me, okay? Okay, so we understand now we have covered 2 categories. We've covered who it's attributed to, and then we've talked about categories by the number of chains we have, the reports that we have, Mutawatir and Ahad. Clear? That's all you need to know. Okay, good. Now, continuity of the chain. What if the chain is continuous? It's called a musnad. It's called a musnad. If the chain is continuous. I'm not talking about if the people are reliable or not. They could be not reliable. But if the chain is continuous, it's called musnad. Okay, this is enough. Okay, muttasil is it? Okay, musnad means something that's connected all the way to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But the whole isnad is. Muttasil means it's connected all the way up to the companions. So you see, for scholars, for muhaddithun, the muhaddith scientists, hadith scientists, they have to use these terms to actually be able to refer to something. Oh, this hadith is this, but it's muttasil, or it's marfu', or no, it's maqtū'. And so they have these words that they refer to kind of have a debate, right? And an argument. Okay, then you have a musalsal. This is a very, very interesting category. I'm just going to talk about that. So musalsal has I say unambiguous chain, but it's really not unambiguous. Musalsal is something that we started with. Remember, I started the hadith class with Ar-Rahimuna yarhamuhumullah, Irham man fil ard yarhamuka man fis sama. That was a musalsal. What is a musalsal? Musalsal is a hadith that has content that repeats, and every narrator repeats the same thing. So let's say one person said, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam grabbed my hand. So the Sahabi said, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam grabbed my hand. Then the Tabi'i said, I heard the Sahabi say that Rasulullah grabbed my hand. That the Rasulullah grabbed my hand. You see, it's going to be repeated twice. Get it? And then you go up the chain. And then the Tabi'i, he's going to say, I heard my teacher say that Rasulullah grabbed the hand, and this person says he grabbed the hand, and this person says he grabbed. That's a musalsal. That becomes a chain. So that's what it is. So it could be a musalsal, something that an action Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. Or remember that Rasulullah, the famous hadith, which is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Ar-Rashi wal-Murtashi kilahuma fid nar. Right? The one who bribes, they're going to be like this in hellfire. When he made this motion, that's a musalsal. Right? He made the motion. Okay, like kind of thing. Okay, so that's what that is. So for example, the famous hadith of Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiyallahu anh, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was advising, and this is also a beautiful hadith, so we're going to cover this, just so I can change the mood. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to Mu'adh, okay? So this is an example, okay? قال Mu'adh ibn Jabal said, أخذ بيدي, he grabbed me by the hand. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam grabbed me by the hand. فقال, and then he said to me, إني لأحبك, I really love you, Mu'adh. That's what he says. In other wordings, it says, Ya Mu'adh, إني لأحبك. Oh Mu'adh, I really love you. See, it just shows this love of. So Mu'adh is stationed. Just think about the station of Mu'adh radiyallahu anh. How many people Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I love you, like this, literally? Not a lot. Okay? Not a lot. So this is beautiful. This aspect of it has nothing to do with the content of the hadith. You'll see. So he said, Inni la uhibbuk, I really love you, Mu'adh, right? Ya Mu'adh. فَقُلْتُ, then I said to him, وَأَنَا أُحِبُّكْ ya Rasulullah, and I love you too, Rasulullah. فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فلا تدع أن تقول في كل صلاة ربي. There's different wordings of this in different chains. So he basically is saying at the end of every prayer, what should you say? ربي عيني على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. That's the advice Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave to Mu'adh radiyallahu anh. You follow? So what is important to us? This piece, the love between the two. Yes, that's significant, but that's not the actual thing that we need to do for our deen. You understand? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam loved Mu'adh radiyallahu anh, and Mu'adh loved Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that's great. But you see, so that is part of a musalsal. You understand? So every narrator who narrates this hadith, they're gonna go, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I love you, Mu'adh. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I love you, Mu'adh. And then they're gonna go, then he gave him this advice. That you say at the end of every prayer, Rabbi ayni ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadatik. Okay? Clear? So that's a musalsal. Yes, you were saying. Battery's dying? Okay. You guys enjoying this? It's okay.
Could you please translate hadith in English?
I thought I did. The dua part?
Yeah.
Rabbi, oh my Lord, a'inni, help me, give me strength too. Okay? Rabbi a'inni ala dhikrik. Give me strength, help me to remember you, to do your dhikr. Okay? Wa shukrik. And help me to feel gratitude to you, right? To be grateful to you. Oh Allah, help me to remember you and help me to be grateful to you. Wa husni ibadatik. And the best of, you can do my phone. And the best, and help me for the best worship, so that I can worship you in the best way. Wa husni ibadatik. You understand? So you're asking for three things. Oh Allah, help me to remember you, dhikrik, to be grateful to you, and so that I can worship you the best way. Allahumma a'inni ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadatik. Beautiful. Everybody should memorize it. Now everybody needs to say this after every salah, right? This is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says. He says, do not ever leave. Do not ever leave. Don't ever drop. Don't ever not say this. He said. Okay? He said, don't ever not say it. Never forget to say. This is how it's translated. It doesn't have anything to do with forgetting, but anyway. Cool? Good? Okay. Why did we talk about this? A musalsal. But it was a beautiful musalsal, so I had to share with you. Yes. Questions?